think I was going to get so upset.
I know. It's a huge
I love it. I love it. Just, no, don't hold anything back, because I love it. The happy tears. Hi, welcome to my channel for my new subscribers. I am Sue Blackhurst, and it's lovely to see you here. And today, Heidi and I, we are so excited because today we're joined by the lovely Groinne Tyndall. Now, I've written some notes down, so bear with me because I'm going to read these out so I get it absolutely spot on. Groinne is a highly qualified international numerologist, and she also calls herself a soul seer. I had a session with Groinne only last week, and yeah, I think it's safe to say that I spent most of it in tears, which were happy tears, absolutely wonderful, amazing tears. And what I gained from Groinne, well, was just incredible. She had to send me a message the next day to say, I hope you slept well, because it was just, it was amazing. It was so lovely. Groinne is based in Southern Ireland, but she has worked with people all over the world. She's also the resident numerologist on Ireland's biggest radio station, which is called Today Radio, and she'll also be known to those in Ireland for her TV appearances. So today we're going to be talking about Diana, Princess of Wales, and her soul purpose, and her boys, William and Harry, and their life path.
We're going to talk about numerology and all about the soul, but we're going to talk today about the wonderful Diana, Princess of Wales. The 1st of July, 2021, Diana, Princess of Wales, would have been 60. So we're going to have a little, it's wonderful. And she was a really, such a wonderful person.
I still miss her. I still miss her.
Yeah.
I miss her presence in the world.
Yes, Heidi, for sure. And when we look at her, when we talk about her life path number and her potential and skills and all the things that she brought to the soul's journey, we get a better understanding of who Diana really was. And of course, we're going to have a little look, I think, at Harry and William's numerology as well and their soul path. And it's such an important, I think the three of them came as a package. Obviously, Charles, bless him, has a part to play. But for this broadcast, I think we're just going to look at those three wonderful individuals.
She really inspired me.
Yes. You're so right, Heidi. She had an essence, she had an energy. I mean, beyond the physical beauty, there was an inner beauty. And I can see why based on her chart. And she came in as Diana Frances Spencer. And as we know, her birthday is the 1st of July. And when I was doing my research for this interview, I realized that it's not really talked about very much, but a year before Diana was born, a baby boy was born called John. Were you aware of that? And he died. He died at birth, John Spencer. He was named after the Earl of Spencer. And he died, he was born. And so Diana was born, Frances got pregnant straight away. So for me as a numerologist working with the soul, basically Diana would have carried in the essence of that grief and that challenge that her mother must have been, because her mother knew on many levels she was here to just create and provide an heir, and it had to be a male child. So the fact that she obviously lost John, Diana comes in, she's a girl, and then they try one more time, and of course the other present Earl is born, Charles. So I found that interesting because she's born the first day of the month. It straight away adds a tone of her having to be her own person. So Diana was very unique. And if you are born the 1st or the 10th or the 28th day of the month, you carry that energy. But particularly the first day, because you are the first, you're the maverick, you're here to be the first to do things. So I found that kind of intriguing, because the fact that she, as I say, carried possibly that energy from John, the baby that had died. And it's very rarely talked about, isn't it?
Never heard of that. Totally news to me.
I was really interested in that, because for me it makes sense why she had that sense of feeling different. There's always that sense of she was a maverick 100%, and she came in and she blasted through. I mean, I've done a lot of research, and when she made her first when she entered the spotlight, I guess, when the relationship with Charles and the 1979 1980, when she became the girlfriend, she, oh my goodness, I mean, that was one of the darkest times of history in the UK, wasn't it? There was strikes and there was no electricity. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
And I know it wasn't bad. It wasn't too good either here.
That's so true. Actually, you're sparking memories in me now. She provided a light and a dream and a hope, and I think her vulnerability and her humility was so engaging.
Yes.
Wasn't aware of it really, was she? It's not like she intended. I mean, people talk about, don't they, Meghan trying to be the new Diana, and it's very forced and very intentional and very with there's so much purpose. Hence the fakeness that we tend to be picking up on. Whereas Diana was so unaware of the power.
Yes, she was. And Diana is a 7 life path, and to come in as a 7 life path, because we each have a life path number that is assigned to us, and that is the energy that we work with. And for Diana to be a 7 life path, as was Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
Okay. And I always feel there's a correlation between the two of them, Diana and Marilyn, because both of them were 7 life paths. Both of them died when they were 36. Both of them were the most hunted women in the world. And as you probably know, Diana is the goddess of hunting. So, and she's normally perceived. Yeah, the goddess is, the goddess Diana is usually someone who's very focused, has a set intention, and I'm going to get what I need, because she's the hunter. But she was hunted. We know that. I mean, we just have to look back. And so was Marilyn. And, Marilyn's another conversation that we may do again. But to be a 7 life path, it's a really high vibration. The 7 is the number of the mystic, the teacher, the wise one, someone who's here to break and to be the tiebreaker in the family tree healing. And that's a lot of my work, involves healing the family tree, looking for patterns and numbers to help people understand what needs to be healed from the past. And let's face it, Diana was the woman who did that, not only for the Spencers, but equally for the royal family. So quite an extraordinary experience. And to be a 7 life path is all about healing the past. And it also they have a star quality. But in fact, 7s tend to be quite introvert. Usually it's an introverted number, because for me, I see the 7 as being like a wise person with a hood carrying a lantern. If you look at the number 7, it kind of has that vibe, And so Diana, whilst the most beautiful, glamorous woman, like she was shy, wasn't she? Really.
Yes, she was.
And her numbers are very interesting, because she's born in the 7th month, and 61 adds to a 7. So there's a lot of 7s there. So she had a big divine plan. It doesn't mean she's a saint. None of us are. She's just somebody who came in to really, because when she died, obviously we know the outpouring of grief was, beyond anything that had ever been seen, really. She touched the hearts of all of us, and all over the world, and still does. Like, we're still drawn to buy magazines if she's on the front. And I'm sure she's very bemused by that, because on a soul level, she knew she was here to heal and to bring healing. I mean, she was a huge humanitarian, and she had so much goodness in her heart, and she was very spiritual. She was very open to numerology. I wish I knew her. And astrology, and all types of ologies, and applied psychology. She was curious. She had a curious mind. And that's what the 7 is all about.
Because she was known, wasn't she, for going to see all the, I don't know what was called them, the mystics.
Yeah.
It was well, the lady that had her under that pyramid at one stage, was that pyramid that she used to sit under. But she was renowned, wasn't it? And was she searching for something doing that? Was she trying to find some answers to her soul? What was the purpose for her seeing so many people, do you think?
That's a really good question, Sue, because the 7 is the seeker.
Really?
They're always seeking knowledge, always insatiable desire for knowledge. As I have to mention, Marilyn Monroe, she was the same. She used to be reading Ulysses, James Joyce. She used to go to lectures. She had an insatiable mind, and so had Diana. And Diana, I know academically she's perceived as not, which I think is nonsense. She was probably one of the most astute, intuitive people we've ever come across. She went completely with instinct. And that's why I feel sometimes the more we know ourselves, the more therefore we can bring to the world. It's not just academia. I mean, what you both do is wonderful work. You're bringing this knowledge to the world. And that's what I do. And so the mind, for me, with 3 minds, here, wherever that is, here, and in our stomachs. So we can listen to our tummy. So we can listen to the mind, and that's the truth. And Diana completely went with Heir. She was the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah.
And, you know, she had that desire for knowledge and wisdom. And from a very young age, you know, she had a very lonely experience, really. Herself and Charles more or less reared themselves, per se, with nannies. So there was a very much, because her parents had split up. And I feel that that split was a huge part of her soul reawakening. And when I do a chart, as you know, Sue, when I do a chart, I look at certain ages that are significant, and we call them your soul return ages, and they're different for everybody. And Diana's first soul return age was when she was 1, and that's when her mom might have been pregnant with Charles, or maybe there was problems in the marriage, because she would have been feeling that, even as a 1-year-old, that's her inner child. And then the next age was 16, and that's when she met Prince Charles. That's when he spotted her at a house party, because he was dating her sister, as you probably know. And so 16 was with the first soul return age for Diana, and it's different for all of us. So at 16, her soul remembered, right, my contract is I'm going to be the future wife of Charles, you know, who's the heir to the throne. That's a big say, isn't it? You know?
You know, I remember being fascinated listening to all the tapes that are now available for us to watch, or the programs that are available. And she said she knew she was different. She knew she was here for a greater purpose at that age.
Yes.
So
she's a very old soul, Heidi. Yeah, she's old. The 7 is an old soul. You come in to kind of clear the decks, and you come in to heal families. And she, I think she healed a lot of the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Holding that guy's hand in the AIDS hospital, that was such a visual impact to the whole of the world, that she didn't wear gloves. She was totally genuine and compassionate with the man who was seen to have a disease that was
But so much fear into other people.
That's right, Sue. So much fear attached,
wasn't it? And she broke down so many barriers with it. But, you know, healing is something that I would definitely see Diana as a healer.
Oh yes, that would be her archetype, because each number has an archetype, and the 7 is the healer archetype. That's exactly it.
We spoke before about the seeking. Was she also seeking to be healed herself? Did she need her own healing?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's why she sought it from other people. And whilst we can get support from people like ourselves, we ultimately have to do it for ourselves. And that would be very much a part of Diana's purpose. Like when I look at Diana's chart here, Diana has a huge amount of, you know, 6s in her numbers and 5s. And 5s are all to do with change and variety and breaking through old patterns. And the 6s, as do her boys, the 6 is actually about self-worth, self-esteem, self-care, all of those things, self-acceptance, but also self-judgment. So herself and the boys do carry that. So that could be inherited. So that's something that must be healed for this generation, like William and Harry and their children. But like Diana does carry some karmic numbers as well. And karma just means it's payback, you know, and it doesn't mean it's bad. And that would be part of her soul's contract, was to very much, she needed to have security in her life. And she wouldn't have had that in the early days. And certainly when she got married, I mean, within a very short time, it sounds like the differences, the polarities between herself and Charles had extended. And I know that Charles is an 11 life path like William. So it's interesting, they both have the same. So, and then Harry is a 1, which is very interesting actually. And so 7s and 11s would actually could, on a spiritual level, and on a humanitarian level, they would understand each other. And this is very general, obviously. But I just feel that Diana needed to feel, like all of us need to feel safe. But ultimately for Diana's chart and what I see, she needed that sense of security. And that's why she reached out, and maybe reached out to other men to find love that really was in here, but she felt she needed that. I mean, she was the most adored woman in the whole world, and yet she'd go home alone to the palace or wherever she was living at the time. Yeah. So, you know, Kensington Palace, I think. So it's just quite extraordinary. So Yeah, it began at 16. 16 was the beginning. And you're so right there, Heidi, that she did know. She always said, I think, to her father, that I will marry someone in the spotlight, or who's in the headlines.
Mm. It was almost like she knew she had to sacrifice herself. She knew at a greater level, or a deeper level, that that was her purpose. Like you say, she was very spiritual and wise.
She was. Yeah, and I think it's very, the sacrificial lamb. I mean, she mentions that, I think, in one of her interviews.
Yeah.
And the 7 can be that, and the 6s are all around the victim as well, and victim mentality. So there is a few 6s in her chart. Now, we all have that. And yes, on many levels, I believe Diana only came in for those 36 years, to just really blast through the life and to leave a legacy that I believe will be here as long as we're here, as long as the world is here.
Yeah,
Diana will always be remembered.
It's funny because, yeah, I mean, like Marilyn Monroe still has that legacy, but I also find it really hard that I can't explain to my children the impact that Diana made on the world, and the how the world stood still with her funeral. I find it really hard to describe to my children what it was like. They say to me, "Oh, if the Queen dies," and I go, if the Queen dies, well, when the Queen dies, there will be, worldwide sadness, but nothing like Diana. And that doesn't sort of reduce the feelings and support we have and love for the Queen. We just know, and she's had a great life. There was the shock with Diana. And I don't think once that generation, we've passed, the people that were around at the time of her funeral, once those last people have gone, then the world will only have somebody, an icon from the past. Nobody's really ever going to have that true feeling.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
Experience those true emotions.
Yes.
Groinia, something that, sorry to interrupt, but this is my very first port of call with numerology. So I'm really unaware of its history, of where it comes from, and your lead into it. I'd find that really interesting to get some context around what numerology is.
Numerology is sometimes called the ancient science of numbers, and it has been around for thousands of years. And it was our good friend Pythagoras. I don't know if you remember Pythagoras' theorem.
I could never remember it at school. I always got it.
I know there was one.
It's not relevant, thank God, to this conversation, but, well, in fairness, but ultimately numerology is based on energy, that every single number has an energy assigned to it. And that, so therefore, your date of birth, your time of birth, your name from birth, all have a significance and have an energy attached to it. So therefore, like astrology is around your time and your date. Numerology is around your name from birth and your date of birth. We don't look at the time. So everything is an energy. I mean, all the great scientists will tell you that it can be created or destroyed. So numbers, colors, sound, it's all energy.
Right. And something I heard you say, which is fact, and for the people that really are quite critical perhaps of this way of being and thinking, there is no denying the fact that energy cannot be created or destroyed, and we are all energy. That has been proven and proven and proven. So that for me provides a very solid foundation for all of these brilliant alternative approaches to grow.
Harry came in as Henry Charles Albert David Mountbatten Windsor.
Wow, that was some adding up for you.
That came down to number 1.
I love it. And then of course William is William Arthur Philip Louis Mountbatten Windsor. William is an 11 life path. So William is a very sensitive soul, extremely sensitive. I didn't realize he was, as in from numerology perspective. And and Harry is the one. I mean, I remember doing Harry's chart when he was born, after he was born, a few years after, and I remember thinking to myself, isn't this interesting? He has the number of the actual heir, the number 1, to someone who could be the leader, right? I'm not saying William can't, he's a double 1, but he's much more sensitive. He's more, in fact, it's the opposite way around, numerology wise. Like William is the one who could be the spare. And I mean that with respect. I'm not in any way insulting to William and Harry. I'm very fond of them, but it's more in terms of their energy. So that's interesting that Harry has the leadership quality the one to be out there changing things like his mother, whereas William has exact same numbers as Charles. And he's such a sensitive child. I'd actually go to say now, I'm going to put it on record here, I wouldn't be surprised that William was actually a twin.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'd imagine she would have known, but I feel on some energetic level, he definitely needs either, if he wasn't a twin, he definitely needs support to get through this experience, whereas Harry will do it my way. It's very interesting, isn't it? So,
Gosh, so how does that affect William now? If his soul, he needs support. Okay, he's got Kate. I think she's an incredible support. But it seems that William really needed Harry, and maybe that feeling let down.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. I mean, William will definitely, he's a very sensitive. So I'd say William's prone to highs and lows emotionally and energetically. And, I wouldn't see him as personally being stubborn based on his numbers. I obviously don't know him, but I would imagine that he finds it hard to let go, all right. And that's one of his greatest lessons, is to let go of what no longer serves. And I do feel they will connect again. I do.
Yeah.
I really do. And I really hope so, because there's only the two of them. And, at the end of the day, and, for William has to she's very much of integrity. The 11 is one of the highest vibrational numbers you can have. And when you come in on an 11, you are here to really make a difference. And bless him, Charles is the same. Like, he really is here to make a difference. You see, Harry has that, I suppose in many ways, it's my way or the highway. It's the number one.
Yeah.
I'll do it my way. And certainly I'm kind of admiring him, though, how he's approaching his life right now, because I feel he was very much in the background. And I always was bemused because he's a one life path. I thought, gosh, he's not going to like that all the time, because he's a leader, or he's definitely meant to be the first to do things, and he's broken away. And what I found interesting as well, Sue and Heidi, was looking at his name, because the name is significant, very significant. And he has David in there. And of course, David would have been his, I think his granduncle who abdicated. And I suppose in many ways, he's repeating history again by coming in and leaving and going to the United States.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say he kind of leaps and then realizes, oh no, and then has to take a step back.
It's funny you say that, because that's what we almost see in him, isn't it? He keeps making these decisions, is leaping on temper, he's very reactive, and then maybe he's then thinking, maybe I've made a mistake.
I get the sense with William, reading around and observing the press, that he is still confused and incredibly upset. And
yes,
can't understand the closeness that they had as brothers. They really loved each other. I get the sense that they, of course, still love each other, but I reckon he's confused.
He's currently in his 5th year of a 9-year cycle. So for William, this is his time of change. This is about completely radicalizing and changing everything.
Gosh.
So it'll be interesting to observe what will happen between now and next June of 2022. Harry, when he has his birthday, now he's currently in his 1st year of a 9-year cycle. This is a brand new start for Harry since last September. And he's a one life path. So he's in his power year. So you're going to see a lot more of Harry standing up and, being assertive. And it's about coming into his own. And when he has his birthday in September, he will be in his 2nd year. And in his 2nd year, it's very much around choices and decisions. So it'll be interesting to observe what happens. But so 39 is a very important age, because that'll be when something major will occur. So just remember that. Again, if we look back on history, and I'm sure Harry is related to it quite a lot in recent times, about his mother, and she needs structure, she needed security, she needed to feel safe. And when you don't feel safe, you can be reckless. They're looking at the life of Diana. They're both now older than what she was when she passed. And I'm sure that must have been a very interesting period for them, when they were both 36, whenever age they were, the period. And so they would have been able to really understand who she was at that time. And history can, as we know, repeats itself constantly. So I would imagine they want to change history, and that's what they're doing. But in fact, history is repeating, because you have Harry, who did exactly what his great uncle did. He's abdicated, per se.
I'm just going to reiterate what you said there, Gronya, because you said, and it was just a wonderful statement. They're trying to change history, but the history is repeating itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they're trying to change it, but what they're actually doing is making history repeat itself, because Harry has done the abdication to an American divorcee actress. Harry also did the interview.
Yes. That's brilliant. And yes, and you know, I believe in many ways, Diana, again, with the 4 or the 13/4 karmic debt number that Harry has, William doesn't, Diana and Harry, they both were the ones who decided to use media as a platform to share their unhappiness or their experiences.
Is there an element here where we could see almost Diana her soul is living through Harry? And what therefore concerns me, I think, about this history repeating itself is how Diana's life ended. And, you know, I still have in the back of my mind this constant, I think it is a fear, you know, and I will say it now, I have this fear in the back of my mind that one day something between Harry and Meghan will happen that will make the world look back and go, history has repeated itself.
Well, I think that's a very good point. I think that's what Harry's real fear is, you know, and you can see it. I mean, he's almost, I would imagine, overprotected.
If Harry really wanted the privacy and the security that he's so craving for his wife, he could have had that by almost taking himself away from the royal family and almost giving the public, here's a picture of my wife, this is what we do, and we're going to live a normal life. They're almost baiting us. It's like taunting us. And so what they're doing is very, very clever. And the best marketers out there in the world will tell you, if you want to sell a product, don't give them the full thing. You know, and they do it whenever they're promoting or selling something. They don't go, da-da, that's what it is. They give you a little bit of something and then you want to find out more. So I see Harry as almost creating more danger than actually would have been appointed to him if he had just gone, we're stepping back, we're going away, we're staying out of it. We wouldn't have forgotten them, but they wouldn't be in the press. But everything they're doing is self-fulfilling prophecy, and wherever their relationship ends up and whatever happens, and I do have this inner fear that one day we will look back and go, history has repeated itself in some context, and it might just be a divorce, but it's almost like that self-fulfilling prophecy has occurred to Harry, and it's what they have created.
Well, learning that he is a number one, Gronya, which you were saying, that actually now makes perfect sense.
Yes.
What we are seeing of him. Yes, our hope would be that if he wanted to leave the royalty, then he would find security and safety in another life. But that's not what he wants.
Yeah, being the one, literally being the one, is about being your own person, doing things your way. It's actually being a maverick.
And he is.
So,
if you had to say, I love the film Top Gun, by the way, but if he was in Top Gun, he would have Maverick across the top of his helmet with Harry, wouldn't he? He is Maverick.
I see, that's what life is about. And the whole reason we're here, friends, is to reinvent ourselves constantly. And that's what Harry's here to do. The number one is about constantly reinventing. I wouldn't be surprised if we'd see Harry at some point doing something completely different.
He'll become the Hollywood actor, and Meghan's going to the stay-at-home mum.
I wouldn't be surprised. That, as you said that, Sue, that probably is on his radar somewhere to be in a film.
But he's definitely meant to be his own person and to do things his way.
Are we saying that the way the numbers are, it would be on the cards that they should have some form of reconciliation?
Because together their numbers add to a 3. So it's about communication. And I know when William and Harry and Kate, the 3 of them, they really were a dream team, I felt. And the 3 again is that creation piece. And who's to say it couldn't really it may happen. This could be the unveiling today of the statue of Diana. Could be the thing that brings them together. Let's hope it does.
I agree.
Do you know, I'm getting the goosebumps now because it's the unveiling of the statue to commemorate her life. And what better gift could they give to commemorate her life than to heal the rift, or take the first step to heal the rift? And the statue is almost commemorating not only her life, but also the start of the new life for Harry and for William together. If you would like to book a session with Gronya, it is incredible, and you'll find out so much about yourself, and there's lots of things that she does and can do that she hasn't discussed on this video for time. All the details I'm going to put in the description box below, so you'll find it on TikTok, you'll find her on Instagram. But I'll put all the details down, a website and everything. You can contact Gronya. She works with people all over the world, so don't let distance be the issue. You can go on Zoom just like this. That's how we did our session. So again, please do, if you can, like and share this video if you can on your page. That's a really big help to us as the content creators of the videos. And don't forget to leave a comment, and I want to say thank you very much again for your support and for watching the video. So from us, it's bye-bye, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was brilliant.
Sorry about that, Sue. When I put my hand up, I wanted to ask what impact Groinya's reading has had on you since you had it last week.
A huge amount of inner peace, inner calm. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing is obviously, and Heidi knows, I lost my mum. And, you know, is it okay talking, Groinya, about you with the media?
Oh God, yeah, I don't remember any of it, so I'm not allowed.
Yeah. Groinya asked me about, you know, is my mum here in the spirit world? And she said, because your mother's here with me now. And she's got goosebumps all over. And it almost hit me like a train. I went, wow, because that thought of my mum being there, because there's huge emotional, oh gosh, I battle very much. I have a much harder time dealing with the loss of my mum than I did with the loss of my dad, for lots of reasons. So I'm going to get upset again now. And the things that Groinya told me, and I went to tell my husband, I actually told my kids as well, was like, it was almost like somebody coming up to you, giving you a hug and saying, it's okay. And, you know, if you've had a bad time and someone just picks you up and gives you a hug and says it's going to be okay, you go, yes, you can get up and you can go off again then and you feel better. That's what I had. And it almost made me go to bed that night and sleep with a huge amount of inner peace.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm getting upset now, you see. So, no, it was wonderful. And